Hi guys and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. I'm Farhad. If you're new to this channel, then please smash that subscribe button now. And finally, I've got the opportunity to watch the much awaited Malayalam film Malayankunju, which many of you were recommending. Chaco, Manju, all of you were recommending, and I happened to miss the theatrical run because of the limited shows that were there and even more limited English subtitles. I was keenly awaiting its OTT release. Finally, the day is here. The OTT release did happen last night, and I happened to catch the film last night. The film reunites the winning combo of Mahesh Narayanan and Fahadh Faasil. The former this time is just writing and doing the cinematography, while the latter is, of course, producing as well as acting. How is Malayankunju? Let's find out. Malayankunju is actually a story of an ill-tempered electrician who one fine day he's just troubled by the cries of the newborn baby from his neighborhood. There's a new couple who've come in with a newborn baby in his neighborhood, and the cries of the baby just bothers him up to a point where he starts flashing the torch lights in their house, all of that. So then what happens next? The film basically is a typical Malayalam film. That the reason why I love Malayalam films, as I've often been saying, that why is it special Malayalam cinema? It is because of films like this, the stories like this, screenplays like these. It's like you actually take a very simple premise, and then when it you transform it into something that is on the other end of the spectrum, something that I did not expect in the second half. I'll come to that, but in the first half, when you actually start watching the film, you get a sense of the world that is being built slowly but surely. There are the people around the protagonist that is there, or the nature of the protagonist. I mean, why is he ill-tempered? You get a glimpse of his personal life or his backstory, his bitter past life that is there, past life that has gone, where he's seen his father committing suicide, his sister eloping with a guy, on the day of a wedding. All of that contributes to a very, you can say, ill-tempered or a very short-tempered person that he is transformed into, so much so that even the cries of a newborn baby begins to bother him. It is that sort of a character that anything, even if he's pricked a little bit, it begins to bother him up to an extent that either he needs to do something about it, or just he just counters that with something even more harsher. Like the music that was there, which he set against the backdrop of the child crying to a decibel level higher than that. So I think that was the bitterness in him that was really shown so well in this film. And it also led to some of the casteist slurs that he had. Basically, this was everything that was toxic to him, but you could empathize with him considering the backstory that he had, the slight backstory that he had. And the first half is generally character driven, but the second half is again, is where the writing again kicks in. But it required a spectacular performance, a solid performance, which I'll get to in a bit. But the second half is more of a survival drama. It's very gritty. There are very few dialogues in the second half, and but the main essence of the second half, the dialogue, one dialogue that stayed with me is that once we are, in the soil, we all are equal. There is no caste, there is no religion. So that is something that really resonated with me, and resonated with me so well. But the survival drama was also there. It was claustrophobic, it was suffocating. The second half was all of that. And the writing kept on hinging on that spectacular performance by Fahadh Faasil. And what a masterclass that was. I mean, what a masterclass. I mean, this is perhaps the best performance that I have seen all year. And the way he uses his eyes, Fahadh Faasil, in the first half. you could almost make out, not to mess with this person, but then in the second half, the vulnerability creeps in, and slowly you are sinking into this character, which has a lovely character arc by the end of it. It is something that just organically flows so well, even in that gritty situation. Then when the humanity kicks in, humanity deserves that bit of a challenge, to come out of it. Every time it's pushed against the wall, you learn from that, you come out of it. Without that calamity, the humanity doesn't work. It still continues to dwell on that. So that is something that a lovely transformation. The screenplay also happens with that natural calamity, that landslide that was there in the conflict. And speaking of the technical issues, those the screenplay is excellent here. Speaking of the technical aspects, I think the dialogues were very subtle, limited, but poignant and impactful, I would say. The music was really good by A.R. Rahman. I just felt the background music, although it was good, but especially in the second hour, if they could have, reduced the background music to just to silence, or, the crickets chirping, all of that, it would have added to the rawness of the drama even more. I felt the background music, the subtle notes that were there, the musical notes that were playing in the second half, especially inside that soil, inside underground that was there. I think that it could have been a little better. I would think maybe a little more impactful if had it been kept a little natural. But I think it was still pretty good. Cinematography, I think, needs to be credited. It's excellent here. All the cramped camera angles actually give you a sense of claustrophobia and suffocation in the second half. And I think Mahesh needs to be applauded for that. And director Saijan Prabhakar, I think he's done a brilliant job here, in simply uh, tackling with such a challenging screenplay, which it started off with being something and then ended up being something totally different. His direction required a certain amount of skills to keep you engaged throughout, and I think he does a brilliant job. Fahadh Faasil, the more I say about it, it will just not do any justice to whatever I say. I think he's the greatest actor at the moment in our country, in India, and he's number one. And if anyone asks you why he's number one, just show him this film, and especially that second half that required a towering acting masterclass. It required that kind of a performance to. Otherwise, the drama would have fallen flat. If it wasn't a actor of his caliber, it would have simply, just been plain boring. I wouldn't use the word boring, but it would not have created that sort of an impact. The pain that is there on his face, or the eyes that he uses. I think those are his USPs, and such a wonderful actor, such a pleasure. As film critics, as film reviewers, you actually feel certain performances just make you humble. As film critics, you cannot rate that performance because it is such a towering act. Anything that you say is going to be lesser than that performance. So I think Malayankunju, I think, is spectacular. I highly recommend this film. It's available on Amazon Prime. Thank you again to Chaco and Manju for recommending me this film. And tomorrow we are also going to be doing a review of Gargi, which is another recommendation. It's already premiered at the time of you watching this video on Sony Live. So I will be watching that and making a video on that as well. For the moment, if you love this video, please like that like button. Please comment on your thoughts on the film. What were your thoughts of watching the film? Also, if there are any recommendations, also check out the full review of Malayankunju on Popcorn Reviews with a double S, the link of which is in the description box below. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps a small creator like me. Also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Letterboxd. All the links are in the description box below. So then until tomorrow, thank you so much. Yes, Fahadh signing off.